about Bryan and what he has meant to our school and why he is here tonight. He is certainly one of the greatest athletes to have attended our school. On the football team, he was a captain. He was an All-American. He was the Pennsylvania High School Player of the Year in 1998. On the basketball team, he was also a captain, a 1,000-plus point scorer, and an all-league player. In track, he was on the Empire All-Area team, a district champion, a state medalist in the 100 and 200-yard dash, and continues to hold the East record for the 100-meter dash, and his name is still on the plaque in the athletic lobby. He was Joe Paterno's top high school recruit for the state of Pennsylvania in his senior year and was a 4-year starter cornerback for the Nittany Lions. He was chosen by the Atlanta Falcons in the second round of the NFL draft and currently prepares for his 8th NFL season, currently with the Buffalo Bills. Bryan is an equally gifted musician, pianist, singer, and a drummer, who has also recently began to teach himself guitar and harmonica. During his rookie year, Monday Night Football on ABC held a competition at halftime in which NFL players were matched with recording artists, and their performances each halftime were voted on by the viewers. Bryan was matched up with Michelle Branch, and they were advanced to the final round, competing against the legendary quarterback Doug Flutie. At East, Bryan was a member of the choir and of the men's ensemble, accompanied various groups on drums, and was a member of the Bucks County Chorus. He competed in Mr. East all 3 years, winning in his senior year, and his talent was always singing and playing the piano, including an original composition during his junior year. He is establishing a Pick Your Passion Foundation for the Arts in Atlanta, a program that enables underprivileged children in inner cities to experience art and dance and music. He is a natural leader, a great role model for young players on and off the field, a hard worker and a tremendous competitor, and yet an extremely humble and caring man. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished alumnus, Mr. Bryan Scott.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Hello and good evening to Mr. Lucaball, faculty and staff, the senior class officers, the proud graduating class of 2011, and the entire Central Bucks East family. And I can't forget the parents, the grandparents, the guardians, the aunts and uncles, everyone who came out this evening. I just thank you. I thank you so much for having me take part in such a special evening. Yesterday when I walked into the building for the first time in a few years, just seeing the auditorium, the gymnasium, going to the choir room, the stage, it brought back so many incredible memories. I just had to take a moment and reflect on, I never forgot, but just to remember how important these years were to me and how important the CB's family is to me. It's such an honor to have been asked to come back and speak at this year's Baccalaureate Ceremony. Everyone was talking about how excited the senior class officers were when they heard that I accepted the invitation, but I can't tell you how excited I was just to have been invited back here. Mr. Teschner, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate it. You made things sound really great. But I have to be honest. I believe that too much credit was given to me. You see, all of my accomplishments, all goals that I have attained, all milestones that have been reached, I've always been surrounded by great people. From parents, family, friends, teachers, coaches. They've taught, guided, directed, advised, and loved, making every transition in my life smoother than it would have been alone or with bad company. My message to the 2011 class is very simple, but a true fact of life. You become like those with whom you closely associate with, for the good and the bad. If you run with the wolves, you'll learn to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you'll learn to soar to great heights. My life path has been one tremendous journey. I've come in contact with some amazing people, from politicians, movie stars, athletes, reality TV stars, you name it. And it amazes me how the simple life lesson of choosing your running mate either was not taught to or ignored by some. Those who missed the lesson or chose to ignore it and got caught in a bad situation are normally the ones we read about or hear in the news, having embarrassed themselves, family, friends, losing out on mega dollars. That simple lesson becomes rather costly. If I can, I'd like to take a minute to talk about a former teammate of mine. Some of you may know him, some may like him, some may dislike him, but chances are you've heard of him and his rise and fall to and from stardom and back again. Yes, I'm talking about your beloved Eagles quarterback, Michael Vick. As you all know, Mike got in some serious trouble, and he was at the top of his game, athletically and endorsement-wise, when it all came crashing down. Now, for the most part, Mike was a very quiet guy, but when he spoke, people really listened to him. As a teammate, he pushed you to work hard and to be great. And as a young rookie, it meant so much to me the day he came and sat by my locker and he said, "Hey, B-Rabbit." And by the way, B-Rabbit is the nickname they gave me because I was always full of energy, just bouncing around the field and the facility. He said, "Hey, B-Rabbit, I've noticed you on the field. You work hard, and I really respect that. Keep the drive, and you'll help us win games." Off the field, Mike was always surrounded by an entourage. He could never go anywhere. The movies, the mall, he always had 15, 30 people with him. And the entourage was made up of both friends and family. But in my own personal opinion, most of them didn't have his best interest at heart. While it was a huge shock that Mike had been involved in dogfighting, I really wasn't surprised that it was his so-called running mates that were right there egging him on. Now, I don't take any responsibility away from Mike and his actions because he was in control of all of that. But I do believe in life, we will make some not-so-wise decisions. And having a strong support cast could deter and not fuel those actions. So, you see, choosing your running mates, it applies to family as well as friends. Yes, please do love, appreciate, support, advise, and be thankful for your family. They're your rock. For they'll always be your family no matter what. Just know that they are human first. And though they are family to you, they can be a friend and a running mate to someone else. Some people are wise enough to know when they're headed down the wrong path. And they're also determined enough to change direction. A few weekends ago, I was at a high school graduation in Atlanta. And there was a young man who was graduating that day, and also the speaker of his class. In his speech, he talked about how he was raised by his grandmother. He talked about choices, actions, and attitude. He also stated, though, that he was a 22-year-old graduate. And when he was a junior, he decided to drop out of school, and he began running with a bad crowd on the streets. A few years later, his grandmother passed away, and on her deathbed, she told him that her biggest wish was for him to go back and finish high school. So he went back to school, and he enrolled. But he said the first few weeks didn't quite go as planned. And after those few weeks were up, he was ready to throw the towel in. So he made an appointment with his guidance counselor to tell her that, you know what, I'm finished with this whole schooling thing. I'm done. And he was going to drop out for a second time. The guidance counselor invited him into the office, closed the door, and then the young man said, "If I told you what you said next, I really would get her in trouble, but I'm not going to say." But that next morning, he was sitting in front of all of his classes in the front row. And he said it was then he knew he was surrounded by good people, and people that cared about him and his well-being. And to him, that was the reason he was able to stand behind the podium and give a speech as a 2011 graduate. And he plans to attend ITT Technical Institute in the fall. He stated that no matter what you do, there will be people who disapprove of it. You can't please everyone, so it's foolish to even try. Instead, guide your actions by what you know is true. Go beyond what is merely popular or expected, or what looks impressive. Keep your focus on what is right. You, the graduating class of 2011, you have many special things to offer the world. I've seen the talent already from the young lady that sang, from the choir, from the group that performed as we were walking in. And some people will resent you. Others, they'll blindly accept you. But don't let yourself be swayed by either. Be who you are, as honestly as you can. Graciously and humbly accept praise without living for it. Learn from criticism without being dismayed by it. Live life on your own terms based on what you know is the right thing to do. And please understand that the most important quality of a great leader is simply to be someone worth following. Look around you right now. Just take a minute and look around you. Your peers, your classmates. For each and every one of you, right now is an opportunity to create a movement, to choose to inspire others, not by doing extraordinary things, but just aiming to do things extraordinarily well. And always live by this theme. Make your performance louder than your applause. Congratulations, class of 2011. I congratulate each and every one of you on your future endeavors. Thank you.